Okay, we see Julian going with Castle here. Julian going with Castle. SSP going with Greed again. Interesting roll here for SSP. Cartel again out of Aviator. And Cartel coming out of Penny. So they're changing things up a little bit here, Penny and Julian. I don't know how much they've really been playing together here, as Julian was on a vacay, it seems like. So, kind of coming back and seeing how they swing into things together. I kind of enjoy the Cartel Castle dynamic, right? Penny able to push a lot early. Julian able to sustain and win more of the mid to late game battles, right? I think that in itself is a positive overall. I'm going to actually move these down to the side here for casting. I think this is a better positioning of these. A little bit less out of the way. So we see a, relatively speaking, pretty safe start in the Antler. Gatling getting a 20 into it, allowing a pretty good push. We do see the double snail coming in by Penny and Julian, leaking Aviator's greedy start, right? The Wild Shroom, very greedy, placing it farther back. Doesn't really help you much if you don't have a split or anything of the sort, right? So 5 workers still on Aviator. Aviator does get a long wave here, and he does have a higher worker push. But if you look at Julian, Julian's got a really safe start, right? Julian's got a really safe start. So the 40 really doesn't hurt him that much. 5 worker out of everyone assigned, aside from Julian, which makes sense. He doesn't even have the gold to go 5 worker. So not a huge worry. We do see the snail coming back out of Penny into Aviator here. With the Wild Shroom leak on 1, it does make sense to do a resend. I do not believe this leaks, but we'll see. The DT, I'm not sure if DT does leak Antler here. I would imagine not. Antler is just much too strong early game. Its damage is not great, but its health total is just too high, in my opinion, to cause much worry. We do see Aviator going 6 worker now, with the send coming in out of Julian of a Lizard. Aviator resending the DT in income. We do see a Sea Serpent coming out of Julian, so respecting the fact that Aviator can push and there was some long waves. No send out of Penny here or SSP. So we see the Castle player and the Cartel player income sending here on this wave. I'm interested to see how Julian fares on this wave. The Antler takes all aggro and is dying relatively quickly. But it seems like a small leak at most. Out of Julian here. Good play by him. That is literally the definition of a pro leak. Never been closer. Pro leak territory. We do see a Brute coming out of Pennywise here, paying homage to his once-time partner flight_TV in LAHL with the tag at 2 Brute. Aviator does go for a single snail resend here. Let's see if the Brute is enough. It is. Aviator does leak pretty hard here, 57%. So we're getting a longer wave now and allowing Julian to kind of rack up a larger send. That being said, SSP also is racking up a larger send, getting a mole in here. Mole and snail into a Gatling gun. We'll see the imps coming out of Julian here. Imps and snail. Aviator and SSP definitely have the worker advantage in this game. We'll kind of see how it ends up shaking out. SSP has been saving on Penny for quite some time, so this 160 cent is very, very important. Right? This send is basically SSP's entire game state on the line, right? If you're going to save that long, you need to get more than a single leak, right? At that point, Julian, with a smaller send, got a similar situation. Right, similar leak percentage. We're both getting full holds on almost the entire side here. Almost a full hold on the mole here by Penny. No sends coming across the board. Aviator and SSP do have a worker advantage, but we do see the Deep Coiler getting pulled out here by Julian on wave 6. So Julian theoretically could have pushed another worker, though he is undervalued, especially with Castle. You want to keep a little bit closer to the heart, especially if you think they're going to go 7 or 8. Aviator getting a canopy out. So I guess the question is, when do Julian and Penny want to go? Mod Abuse sitting here with quite a bit of Mythium. So does Aviator, though. Aviator sitting at over 170. The man's just pushed very deep early. His pockets are full of cash. He's got Mythium for days. He's waiting for the right opportunity to spend it all. We see a Mimic here coming out of Aviator, and SSP sending a Dino. So I don't know if the Dino will be enough to really leak Gatling Gun. That being said, the Mimic is going to wreak havoc on Julian's entire field. We've got things like Peewee, Veteran, Devilfish, Sandworm, all going to just be kind of destroyed by a Mimic. The only thing the Mimic really doesn't hurt that badly is the Antler. And funnily enough, it does seem like the Antler is the first target of the Mimic, giving them actually a little bit more time for the rest of his wave to kind of clear. I do not believe Penny will have any problem holding here. That being said, I cannot really say the same for Julian. Julian is dead. That is a 14% health Mimic. Absolutely crushing. If that Mimic were to have been killed, he gains so much extra gold off of it. What is that, 36 gold or something of the sort. Instead, he's shifting it over to his teammates and opponents in terms of gold value. SSP and Aviator are panic income sending at this point, it seems. I wouldn't call it a panic, but they are a little bit more worried, I think, at this moment in time. I'm curious to see when Julian and Penny send, right? They took the worker advantage now. They are slightly under, being at 80 under and 75 under, which isn't too terrible, especially when you consider they're going to get income sends here again. SSP and Aviator are pretty close to value, but with a worker push and quite a bit of Mythium sitting on Penny and Julian, I'm curious as to when they go. Because I think the deciding factor of this game now is going to realistically fully be on the viability of both Penny and Julian's sends. Mod Abuse is going pretty all in here on a gamble play of Ogre on 9. I think the Ogre makes quite a bit of sense into both members in SSP and Aviator, though I worry a little bit about SSP actually leaking to the Ogre. I just don't think there's enough really being sent into him to potentially really threaten the Kingpin setup, but we'll kind of see. Aviator, I think, here is the more interesting case, getting an Ogre and a Mole, giving Penny a pretty good potential to leak him. Though, right away, like the second or third unit to get targeted is the Mole. So, a little bit less of a leak, but was it worth it? Penny leaking 42% to a no-send here, SSP fully holding. Whenever the enemy has Angler Steed, I don't really like the long save into it. It's one of the very few things that really can negate and slow things down in the long starve department. We do see Penny income sending here. And we do see Julian going for double Soulgate. So it does look like it will end up being Soulgate Antler buff. And I think Julian at this point going a little bit for the income send in an attempt to solidify his castle push, right? We see things such as Protector, Lizard Army, and Allowance. All pretty solid options. Interesting income send here by Julian, though, into the Kingpin here. It kind of depends on when Kingpin gets aggroed. Early and it's a leak, late and it's not a leak. I don't know if this is a leak or not, to be quite honest. Kingpin just does such good damage, it kind of depends on when these last handful of attacks hit. So, small leak. Shutdown, though. So, some value given back over to Mod Abuse here. So I imagine the long-term plan of Julian is to realistically just Protector Gate and run with the gates for forever, right? He's got gates with Protector, Antler, buff, and potentially a setup of Yozora, Samurai Soul, and so on and so forth. I'm not a huge fan of Protector on the Antler. to be honest. Kind of seems odd to me, but maybe I'm just bad. I'm not necessarily super understanding of that pick. I guess if your argument is that he wants a better a higher HP natural tank, but just seems kind of funny. Doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense here in this situation. We do see a fake lizard army. Ooh. Fake lizard army out of SSP and Aviator. We do see, obviously, the two hidden here in the allowance and the protector out of SSP and Aviator, but they're doing a good job to fake this lizard army. Aviator shifting absolutely massive amounts of gold as well. So I'm curious to see how this ends up going, because I'm really not sure if the fake is going to fake out Penny and Julian. Though it does seem like it's kind of doing its job in terms of faking out them. We do see Penny and Julian. We see boosts here. We see quite a bit of build for the 12 send. The boost here by Julian is kind of odd to me if they don't recognize the fake lizard army. We do see sends coming in now out of Julian and Penny. So at this point, that is a Siege Ram going into Aviator. Siege Ram going into Aviator. He ends up getting a full Phoenix on the wave. My goodness. Okay. And then we see SSP getting a 4 Eyes and double Snail. So I assume the idea is to do something along the lines of kill the Sov, etc. But I don't think they anticipated to see a Sovereign drop and the Lizard Army fake. The Phoenix drop out of nowhere is, relatively speaking, pretty scary if you want to be real about it. But it does look like Aviator leaking quite bad. The question now is more or less, is SSP going to even get close to leaking? No healing on the Sov, right? No healing on the Sov. And the 4 Eyes is doing quite well. SSP does leak. 50 gold shutdown is actually quite massive into both Penny and Julian. Getting quite a bit of king damage here. The fake Lizard Army was, I think, relatively speaking, well played, but at the end of the day, didn't pan out necessarily. Right. I think what ended up happening there is Julian and Penny felt pressure to send because SSP and Aviator showed potential Lizard Army sends on 13. But because of that, now Julian and Penny are super behind, right? They've got rid of all of their Mythium. They have no chance for a counter send on 15, right? Which is realistically SSP's weakest wave in the next handful. So now it comes down to, when do Aviator and SSP want to send? They both have 21 and 20 workers respectively. They are almost doubling the worker count of Penny and Julian. So this might be a little bit of a quicker one than I first imagined it would be. And it looks like this very well could be the reverse. We see the 15 sends are coming out. We see Shaman, Siege Ram, Shaman, Dirtle. Turtle. Ooh, DT, Dragon Turtle. Full king ups by Penny and Penny and Julian. That's a lot of veterans being dropped here on the side of Julian. A lot of Pegasi coming out of SSP. Sorry, SSP, out of Penny. My goodness, I cannot speak right now. Sorry, chat. We do see, though, 800 sends. 800 and 600 send, realistically, going into both sides here. The Deep Coiler sniping the Witch early is something to look at as a positive. That's a guaranteed kill for 40 gold, right? Which is honestly, honestly pretty good for Julian to get that snipe. Julian with the gates is holding, but that's just disgusting. The gates are so incredibly strong. Julian holding quite well. His teammate, on the other hand, dead. Absolutely dead. But full hold. Full hold out of Julian here. Absolutely massive. The balls on this man to have gone full investment into Hellgate with Ocean Templar, with Protector, and still hold a 15 send. Of all things, this man is absolutely disgusting. So the question now is what happens, right? Julian pushing to 36 workers, 38 workers. So in my opinion, this looks like a ploy to try to go for a big send on either 17 or 18. Into SSP and Aviator. The ping's coming out of the Mudman. The ping's coming out at the Mudmans so that it is known that Penny and Julian see the Mudmen and see the potential for a Harden. Right? The question now is, do they go here or see the Mudman and go 18? I honestly personally prefer 18 if I'm Penny and Julian. Giving a little bit of a boost. We do see the Golem and the Harden. Penny and Julian going here on this wave. If you look, though, I don't think it will matter too much. SSP and Aviator so incredibly undervalued here. 1,000 under on Aviator. Or 800 under on Aviator. 700 under on SSP. Full boosting, full harden. I think they realize that this is potentially game here. You know, I thought there was a chance when SSP and Aviator went for the long save that if they, if they came out on top there, they would win. But Julian, the ball is on this lad, holding, proving that he himself is the God King. And we see the game. The gates are disgusting. We see the GGs coming out of chat, and we don't even see the king go down. This is fine. Succumbing to the power that is gates. The disgusting act that is gates with any type of buff, to be frank. But gates just coming in clutch. So we've got one more in this matchup of the Titans. SSP Aviator versus This Is Fine. This is quite the series, ladies and gentlemen. Castle power coming in clutch for Julian there. Castle combined with Gates. Right? Like, that is the insane thing for me. I thought there was no way. There was absolutely no way that Julian and Penny could survive that. The Ocean Templar, the 2 Hellgates, with faster spawning. Woo! Alright. We are back for the final game of this series. Can Julian and Penny pull it off?